So before I get into my story and who I am and why I do what I do and how I've overcome my obstacles and everything, I want us to take a moment to reflect, and I'm not going to be asking plenty of time later to talk and have discussion. So just think about this. What it means to you to be different. I want you to take a second and think about the first thing that comes to your mind when I say someone who is different. First thing that comes to your mind when I say somebody who has a disability. So I want you to take a second and remember that. Now we're going to look and see what the dictionary says is a disability, okay? Lack of adequate power, strength, physical or mental ability, incapacity. A physical or mental handicap, especially one that prevents a person from living a full, normal life or from holding a gainful job. Putting me at a disadvantage is what it's telling me. This is what the dictionary defines as somebody with a disability. The dictionary is telling me and you that being different or having a disability is something that's going to hold me back. If you look at synonyms for the word disability, or things like disadvantage, a lack of something, not being able to do something to your full capacity. So now I'm going to tell you why I have my leg, why this is who I am. I was born with tibia hemimelia. So my right leg is all normal, right? Completely normal. This is my visual demonstration for this. And my left leg was curved, okay? Now they had no idea when I was in the womb that this is going to happen. They had no idea that my leg was going to be formed this way. My mom and dad had no idea what was going to happen, how I was going to react in my lifetime, what I was going to accomplish, if I was going to be bullied, if I was going to be teased. My parents didn't know. So I was born and my mom's like, how's my daughter? How is she? And I am the best daughter, let me tell you. I have 2 brothers, though. I should be giving speeches on how to deal with brothers, am I right? Or sisters. I'm sure it can be equally as tough, right? That's equally tough. But they didn't know what was going to happen. So my parents were given choices. There's always choices for everything. You can either amputate the leg and put me in a prosthesis, or you can do a lengthening procedure. Now, both are ways that can work for different kinds of people. It all depends on your situation. I am not saying one way is better than the other way, but for my personal situation, amputation was going to be the best option for me. Now, I am 1 year old at this point, okay? I can't talk yet. I can't say, hey, Mom, everything's going to be good. I'm going to do fine. Don't worry about it. Chill out. But as an overprotective, don't tell her I said this, kind of crazy mom. I love my mom. Sorry, Mom. She was worried. She didn't know any other amputees were able to say I was able to overcome things. So this was a tough decision. I couldn't tell her I was going to be okay. So they ended up amputating my leg when I was 1.5 years old. I started walking when I was 2. Once they amputated it, I was ready to go, especially with having brothers. I was ready to run around, do crazy things, hurt myself by falling off too many bikes and scooters and trees. I don't recommend that. Teachers have my witness is that. Don't climb up a tree and tell you Gina told you it's okay, because it's not. I fall on here, so. But I had to prove to my family and my friends growing up that this is not a disability. This is not a limitation. This is not something that's going to hold me back for the rest of my life. This is not something that's going to stop me from doing what I want to do. But that wasn't always the case for me. I didn't always feel that way. It's easy for me to stand up here and tell you guys that this was the easiest thing in the world. I could sit here and say, yep, I'm great. I overcame this. Everything was fine. But that's not always the case, but that's okay. Okay? So as I continue the speech, we're going to redefine this definition, okay? Now I want you guys to think about when you were really little, I'm talking like maybe kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. You all are sixth graders, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you were really little and you had that bike or you had that Razor scooter, anybody ride bikes a lot or had a Razor scooter? I loved my Razor scooter, right? It was like the cool pink one and I was all excited. Now how bad does it hurt when you're riding that Razor scooter and that thing whips around and whacks your ankle?
Oh,
That's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. Doesn't that hurt? Or when you're really small and you're on this big bike that feels like a lawnmower or some crazy machine or a tractor and you fall off this thing, at the moment it is terrifying, right? Falling off a bike as a child might have been so scary. But you know what the thing is about children? You guys aren't children anymore. You know what the crazy thing about children is? Is that there was no fear yet. You weren't exposed to as many challenges. Everybody gets exposed to challenges at a different age, but especially when you're little, it's harder, or it was easier, to get back up on that bike. To get back up on that Razor scooter that busted your ankle. Why was it so easy? No, don't answer this. We'll answer it later. Why was it so easy for you to get back on that bike? Because you were fearless. You weren't scared of failure. Failure wasn't something that intimidated you. Your friends only encouraged you when you were that age. When I was a kindergartner, I remember this very vividly. My mom sent me off to school, and she actually told me growing up she had me in pants a lot. She wanted to not hide my leg, but it was something that she wanted to protect her child from getting teased about. So I went into school with pants. You couldn't really tell I had a fake leg. But my teacher knew. My mom let my teacher know, what was going on and everything. And my teacher said, Gena, as a kindergartner, I need you to get up in front of the class and tell everybody what happened to your leg. I was like, all right. I was a kindergartner. I was like, cool. I get to talk in front of everybody. Everybody's looking at me. I was like, sweet. Right? And you'll learn. This attention is great. I love the attention. And you'll learn to love attention for your difference as well. If you can manipulate it and make it a great thing. So she said, get up in front of the class, tell everybody what happened. I was like, sweet. So I get up in front of the class and I say, hello, everybody. Way down here, I'm Gena, right? Kindergartner. I have a fake leg, and the easy way to say it was just shorter than the other one. So I bet money that any kindergartner wouldn't be like, I know exactly what tibia hemimelia is. They're like, what was that? So I just say, yeah, my leg was shorter when I was born, and I wear this cool fake leg. Just like that. It was like nothing else. It was like wearing a different shoe. The second I just informed them what it was, there was no whispering or talking, oh my gosh, what is that? That's just what it was. And just like anything else, I was a normal kindergartner. I'll tell you the story about the time I was on the swing, okay? Loved the swing, but always trying to go way too high, get in trouble for it. It was great. And one time I was on the swing, and as I was swinging, my leg flew off. Through the air. Flew off. You can see a picture in slow motion. It's crossing the plane. I was sitting there laughing so hard. All of me and my first or second grade friends, we were dying. This was hilarious. So many people are like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. So many people might be like, oh, is it okay to laugh? Am I allowed to laugh at that? Yes. You know why? It's because there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to hide. This is who I am, and I love who I am. That's why we can laugh about things like this. That's why the numerous stories I tell you, that I tell you about, it's okay to laugh, and please do. You're allowed to. That's part of who I am, and you have fun with that. So, and even if you don't think it's funny, you can laugh to help me feel better. See, you guys are so good at that. I had some fourth grader earlier who looked at me and they're like, that's okay. It's like, I thought it was pretty funny. So, there's that fearless child in everyone, but when all of a sudden did we stop being fearless? When did failure intimidate us? When did it start being cool to pick on other people? When did it start being cool to judge people off physical appearances? When did that become okay? When did we base what we looked like off of other people? When did we start basing our own success off of somebody else's success? Where's that child in us that's not afraid to get back on the bike? Where's that child in us that's not afraid to try again? To let that something that we're going through doesn't have to be physical. Yes, my difference is a little more visual. You can see my difference, but you can't see what other people around you are struggling with. There's some things you can't see. I'm lucky that you can see my difference because it forces me to be okay with it. But there was a time where I wasn't always okay with it, and I'll get to that. I remember in middle school, I spoke with my prosthetist. Now this is a prosthetist is the guy who makes the prosthesis, right? Okay. Which is this thing, yeah. So he's a fake leg doctor, is what I call him. Because even though I'm 21, I don't think I'll ever perfectly get that right. So he's my fake leg doctor. I had the choice in middle school to stick with a leg that looked like this. This was the leg I had grown up, well, not this exact one, but this type of leg was the leg I grew up with. It looked real. I call it my Barbie leg. It looks pretty real. It looks pretty gross right now because I've kind of shredded it, but because I wore it so much. But I had the choice to wear this leg or change into this leg that gives me more stability. It helps me walk better. It helps me run better and faster. It's more comfortable when I'm standing. It's more comfortable when I'm sitting. Everything about this leg is just better. This one's made more for the looks, it's the cosmetic leg, than this one is. The doctor looked at me, and I was in 5th grade going into 6th grade. Now, the school I went to, it was an elementary school, so it was kindergarten. Oh, there goes my shoe. This usually happens on the fake foot more than the right foot, so switching it up today. But normally, I know some of you guys, the buildings are kind of in the same area. You kind of grow up with the same kind of people, same kind of friends, right? It's pretty comfortable to move from 5th grade to 6th grade. I went from 5th grade, which was one school, to 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade, which was a completely different school, different people, some of the same friends, but a lot of different people. So it's a transition, like anything. It's a new step in life. It's something new that you go through. So that was the time when the doctor was telling me, Gina, you're at the right height, you had to be a certain height and everything to get this new cool leg. You're at that height, Gina, we're ready to give you this really cool new leg. And I was like, sweet. And I remember my mom looking at me and kind of being hesitant, like, are you sure? Are you sure that you want your leg to be visible? I mean, you are going to be a 6th grader. You know, that's already a challenging transition in itself sometimes. She said, are you sure you want this to be something that people notice? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, this one's more comfortable, and convinced my mom and other people that I'm okay with who I am, and if it's more comfortable, I'm going to get that one. And just because it doesn't look real doesn't mean I'm not going to get it. So I got this leg, and I think, oh my gosh, the first one I had was purple and pink polka dots, I believe. Whatever. I had Tinkerbell on it before, but apparently by 6th grade I outgrew Tinkerbell, which is weird because I still love Tinkerbell. But I had this leg, and I was going into a new school and going through this new transition, and I was confident in who I was. Let me pause and tell you how important that decision was. Because I made a decision from middle school to high school that was different, that was not good. This decision to be comfortable in who I am and wear a leg that, might look different, how important that was to my success story. How important that is that I was comfortable in my skin. That made me able and confident to speak to you guys. My life could have been completely different if I would have conformed to what other people wanted to see. And I know a lot of you have your own struggles. Like I said, my parents got divorced recently. That's a different kind of struggle I had to go through. It might not have been physical, but I went through therapy. I had grown up with some anxiety in my life. I have ADD, and I'm sure a lot of other stuff too. But you know what? There is nothing to be ashamed of for any of that. I loved therapy. You know why I loved therapy? Because I got to talk to somebody and then tell me I'm awesome and cool, and then I walked out and I was like, okay, I feel better now. When did it become a bad thing to ask for help? When did it become a bad thing to not know? When did it become bad to be different? When did that become a bad thing? You have the choice every single morning when you wake up to tell yourself you can do it and you're gonna be positive. Because there was mornings when I looked in the mirror in the morning and I didn't like seeing my leg. This was that transition from middle school to high school. I went from a high school, freshman year in high school, that was a private Catholic school, uniforms, everything, I had really close friends, but I wanted to move to Penn High School, which was a way bigger school. I graduated with like 600-700 students in high school. It's like a mini college. No dress code, a lot of different types of people, which was great. I wanted to go to that school. I liked their sports better, so I went to that school. But I started changing who I was. And this didn't happen overnight either. One morning I didn't wake up and look in the mirror and say, I'm gonna completely be different today and everybody else is just gonna conform to everybody else. No. But it started with small steps. I started caring too much about what other people thought. There was a morning I woke up for high school and took off this leg and put the cosmetic one back on. I started looking in the mirror and picking apart things about myself that I didn't like. I started thinking about social media and what you see on social media, what you see portrayed in the news. You see what you think is this perfect person. And in your head, that perfect person, or in my head, it was somebody with normal legs and normal arms. So I made it a goal of mine to hide what I had. Even though in middle school, I still had that fearless child in me that wasn't afraid to be different. Somehow from then until that high school time, I lost sight of that. But that's okay. Because of that, I am stronger and I am who I am. So although it's hard for me to sit here and tell you that there was a time I wasn't okay with myself, because I had those low points, do I have my high points? It's not easy sometimes. And everybody goes through their own thing, and the biggest thing you have to do is support each other through those times. Because at my lowest point, when I started wearing the cosmetic leg, I even wore a knee brace that looked skin color to cover this up. Maybe people think I have just a knee brace, which did work. I did work for a while. But when you're really starting to build relationships with people, don't you want them to know your real self? Don't you want them to know who you really are? What was I hiding from? Where was that kid that wasn't afraid to get back on the bike or the scooter or up the tree? Where did it go? Why wasn't I like that anymore? So as I continued, I had friends who supported me. This is the most crucial thing in the world, is to support your friends. And I know you hear it a lot. Bullying is bad, don't do it, stick up for somebody, but it is so important, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. As you get older, people sometimes get meaner, things get harder, things get tougher, but you make that choice every single day to wake up, look in the mirror and say, I can do this, I'm going to be the best version of myself, and I'm going to love myself completely and be confident in who I am and stick up for somebody who doesn't feel that way. Because the most attractive trait about a person is not what they look like. And it's so hard not to obsess over those things. It's so hard not to obsess. I know how it is, girls and guys, that your hair is perfect, that your makeup's perfect, that your outfit's perfect. I know that's sometimes a hard thing to not obsess over. But once you lose sight of that and really, truly become who you are and be confident in who that is, regardless of what it may look like, that is the most attractive trait. Confidence, happiness. When you're happy, other people want to be around you because they want to be happy. When you're confident, people want to be around you because they see your confidence. You might make friends picking on other people, not the right kind of friends. You're going to make your best and your lifelong friends by sharing good things with each other, sharing confidence with each other. Because I was teased on in high school and some in middle school. I remember getting picked on in middle school. I started playing sports. I've always been an athletic person. I love running. I love playing soccer. That's what I do. It's what I love. And no disability that I have is going to change that. I ran track and I played soccer. Those are my two. Soccer was really my life. I love soccer. Never an issue. All my friends accepted it, my teammates loved it, but as I got higher into the competition, sometimes it got a little harder. Especially when I was in high school. I went to a really big high school. The competition got a lot tougher. But I didn't choose to quit. Were there times that were tough? Yes. You know how hard, anybody here played soccer or watched soccer or anything? Yeah. Isn't it a tiring sport? You are running around the whole time, right? I would sweat a lot, which is normal. But there was times my leg would slide off. That's how nasty it is. My leg would slide off because I was sweating too hard. I could have chosen at that moment to say I'm done. I'm sick of taking off my leg every time it sweats. I'm sick of walking off the field every time I get a blister. I'm sick of this, blah, 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 poor me, poor me, poor me. I could have done that. But where would that lead me? It wouldn't lead me here. It's overcoming those little things, because those little things are what make you stronger. I could have let it take away from who I was. I could have let this definition define me, but I did not. Now, another story I have to share with you is a kind of funny story to lighten up the mood, because I feel like I'm like, yes, which is good, but we gotta have some funny stories here too. So I was playing soccer in, was it middle school? No, this was high school. And I'm gonna show you guys this, because this is super cool. Don't freak out. This pin, forewarning, is not attached to the bottom of my leg. Everybody is like, oh my gosh, did you know you have a pin growing out of it? No. I promise you that would be gross and painful. I have a lot of my leg, which I'm very lucky for. Now, you see how easy that was for me to take it off? So all I did was put it back on. Done. Alright, boom. It's pretty cool. So yeah, then I got a few more clicks in there still. But what's crazy is how easy it is to get off. So all you do is push this button and that thing's gone. So when I was playing soccer in high school, I had to wear shin guards and everything else, because this pole can be lethal. I could really hurt somebody if I kicked a ball and accidentally kicked their ankle. I would be hurting some ankles, right? I'd be putting other people in their You gotta hear the funny part. You're gonna miss the funniest part. So when I was playing soccer and everything, this girl came up to me, and I'm outside right defense, so I'm always trying to school people to be like, girl with one leg just got by you, whatever. Cocky high school me playing soccer. And then she accidentally kicked my leg instead of the ball, because I did my cool move by her, so she couldn't get to the ball. So she accidentally kicked my leg. So this leg releases and goes that way. And she is standing there like, oh my God. She has no idea that I have a fake leg. Let me remind you this. She thinks she's ultra superwoman strength power and just kicked a limb off. So I'm sitting there cracking up. My teammates are like, you should have put ketchup in it so it looks like it's bleeding. You could have made this way better. So I'm laughing, but the poor girl, I don't know if she was gonna puke or pass out, but she was and the ref was even like, I don't know what to do. He's like, is there a penalty shot for this? I wasn't trained for this. Let me just get this real quick. So what happened was I scored 18 goals. Nobody wanted to touch me. They're like, I don't know if you saw that, but if you touch that girl, her leg will fall off. That was the easiest soccer game I ever had in my life. I was at defense, scoring all the goals. But what's so great about this story is that we can laugh about it, like I said earlier. If I would have made that choice to stay in bed, quit the team, and all these things, I wouldn't be here sharing that hilarious story. This is my motivation to keep your attention. I have another story in about 5 minutes. keep your heads over here. So, when I was playing soccer and everything, there was a point where the competition got really hard. Like I said, the leg in ways was limiting me. There's some things you can't control. having a leg. I can't take a pill and grow it back. I wouldn't if I could, but there's no other, anything else I can really do at this point. Okay? So, when I was on the field, I was having to come off the field every 5 to 6 minutes to take it off, switch it around, dump the sweat out. And there was a point for junior year in high school where tryouts were. And I had been with the same team playing travel soccer and high school soccer with them since I was like 4. I remember my coach, this had to have been hard for me, he's a family friend and everything, you know, this had to have been something difficult for him to do. But it was tryouts and he came to me and said, "I'm sorry, Gena. You didn't make the team this year." I was just like, what? Soccer was my life. I was down here, guys. I was lower than here. Soccer was everything I knew. What do you mean I can't play? At the time, that seemed like something that I was just, what am I going to do with my life now? That was something I thought was like the worst thing possible. Then I realized how much more there is to life and your success story than the actual making the team or the actual being in first place. I still ran track. I adapted and I found other things that I could do and still love and still enjoy. But I stopped comparing myself to other people's success. That is key. I stopped being upset when I wasn't in first place. I stopped being upset just because I wasn't the best at the sport. Because my success and somebody else's success are completely different. Everyone can't be first. I'm not saying it's bad to want to be first and strive to be first, but not everyone is gonna be first. So what, just because you're first you're gonna quit? Just because you didn't make a soccer team you're gonna quit? No. Don't even let that be an option. Don't even let that thought cross your mind, because as soon as it does, you've already lost the battle. Losers are not failures. I lost many races in track. I wasn't first place all the time. Did that make me a failure? No. I have one leg and I'm running on a track with this $25,000 bad boy. Don't steal it. It's only going to fit me, so you can't use it for anything and resell it. My little brother one time came up to me and he was like, "Wait, how much is it?" I said, "Why, Corey? Well, can I sell it on eBay?" No, it's my leg. But I was able to get with the really good doctors and really good people that helped me succeed and gave me encouragement so that every morning I could look in the mirror and say, I can and I will, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I was able to compete and I was able to succeed in my own way. The reason I am here is because I am different. Imagine a world where everybody looked exactly the same. Honestly, imagine that. What would separate you from you? What would separate you from you? Nothing. You wouldn't be able to succeed. You would just all be the same. So when did that fearless child leave and say, I'm not going to get back up again, I'm not going to try? The question is, it didn't leave, it's there, you just have to find it again. And once I found it, I became the happiest person in the world. I honestly cannot tell you a day that I've been sad. It's been a long time. You know why? Because anything that could happen, a parent's divorce, amputation, being diagnosed with disease, getting in some kind of horrible accident. You hear these stories about people that come back from those things and are so much stronger. You know why? Because they made that choice to be stronger. You can control your attitude. That's pretty powerful, guys. You control the way you think, you control the way you treat other people. So why wake up and feel bad about yourself? Why wake up and not like something about yourself? What's the point in that? There is no point in that. So you're not going to be happy if you do that. Success and beauty doesn't come from what you see, it's how you think. It all starts with how you think. you don't think good things about yourself and other people, if you don't encourage other people and think good things about other people, you're doing a disgrace to yourself. You could be working really, really hard at something and be this close to getting there. But if you give up, you might have been this close and walked away and not even realized how close you were. Somebody who works hard for what they want will work hard until they get it. People told me, no, you're not going to be able to compete. I had a parent at a track meet that came to me and said, you should not be allowed to compete. That's an advantage. So yeah, it makes me cooler. But they said that's an advantage because I beat their daughter, so they got a little upset about that. Said, no, that makes you go too fast. I'm like, well, I am fast. But there's going to be people that try to discourage you. There will be people who try to tell you, no, you can't. I love it when people say that. I love that. In a respectful way, for teachers' sake, be quiet. Don't say, no, Gena says I can say no. I can do whatever I want. No. In the best way possible, when somebody doubts how much passion you have, if somebody doubts it, that is your time to shine and say, oh, yes, I can. I continued running track. I continued helping my soccer team. Whether that was being there for them at their games, I didn't envy them. A lot of people would have been jealous. Jealousy is also something that comes from insecurity. I was confident with myself, and I still wanted to be there for those people who made it to the next level. It's okay that I didn't make that team, and I talked to that coach all the time. What he did for me was incredible. That must have been hard. Think about that. Telling the girl with one leg who's played soccer her whole life, that's known me my whole life, saying, I'm sorry, Gena, you can't play for us anymore. I mean, he was in tears. 53-year-old man was crying because he felt bad. But I don't want to be treated any special than anybody else. I earn what I get. Nothing is handed to you. Nothing is handed to you. The way you think, the way you act, the way you treat others, that's all your own choice. You are your own person. There's only so much your parents, grandparents, friends, family can tell you. That has to be a choice you make. When I was going through my things in high school and wearing that fake leg, I remember my dad coming up to me saying, Gena, why are you wearing that leg? Like, is the other one uncomfortable? Because I wore the other one all the time. And I was just like, no, Dad. Gena, why are you wearing so much makeup? Oh, it's fine, Dad. Gena, those leggings are a little too tight. No, it's fine, Dad. I was worrying about the wrong things. But when that coach told me, I'm sorry you didn't make the team, for some reason my perspective changed. I realized there was way more to life than just a sport. And it didn't seem like that at the time. You know how many tests I have failed because I have ADD and ADHD? You know how many times I have tried so hard, gone to office hours with teachers, stayed after class, willing to meet them anytime, anywhere, just help me. Even then, you know how upsetting that is when you still don't get it? It happens. I know you all are really intelligent students. I've been talking to kids in this school all day, and let me tell you, I've spoken to a lot of elementary schools, and you guys have to be one of the brightest people I've met. And you're already there. I can already see in the way you guys are looking at me when I'm giving this speech the confidence that you have. You guys are respectful. Don't lose sight of those things. Treat the people who are good to you with respect. Treat your teachers with respect. They love this. You have to grow up at some point and be the person you want to be. And if you're going to worry about things like the way you look, you're not going to get there. You have to stop idolizing things that aren't important. Uniqueness is beauty. I stand out in a crowd, and I love that. People remember me, even if it's as the girl with the fake leg. Robot leg, as this little kid I know calls it. I'm still remembered. I want to be remembered. Don't you guys want to be remembered or do something good or stand out from the crowd? Well, take that thing that's a struggle for you. Take that obstacle and use it. Let it be your passion and your motivator. Don't let it hold you back. Encourage each other. We all have our own battles. My battle is not greater or lesser than anybody's here. I am not standing up here telling you my life is way harder than yours because I have this leg. No, I know people who have been in car accidents. My cousin's paralyzed because of one. I know people that have endured a lot more traumatic things. I am not a motivational speaker. I'm just telling you how my life went and how I was able to get to where I am today. I'm no better than anybody. I went through my challenges just like you all do, and you all will. But it's not about the challenge, it's how you get back up from that challenge. And it's how you support your friends. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know I've said it a few times now. Teasing doesn't get you anywhere. When I woke up in the morning and I looked in the mirror and I said, I love what I see, that one person that made fun of me took me down just a little bit more. Bring each other up. You don't know their struggle, and you don't know their story. And they don't have to tell you that. But picking on somebody, that could just be enough for them, no matter what age you're at. Sometimes when I'm telling people this speech and tell them I'm speaking it to 6th graders, like, is that a little serious for them? I'm like, no, it starts now. I ask the group of people that I talk to, imagine a world where nobody hurt anybody. You know what's sad? Is that that's so hard to comprehend. It's so hard to think about a world where people only support each other because we're blinded by all the little things that don't matter, the way you look, the way you talk, your skin color, your hair color. All these things are separating us from each other. What needs to tie us together are the things that are different about you. That's what brings us together, because we all have something, big or small. So that support and that encouragement is how I'm here today. That is the sole reason I'm confident and I love myself. That is the sole reason that I haven't woken up in a long time and been upset. What's there to be upset about? There's little things. I could pick things in my life I don't like, but then I change them. I looked at the doctors who said I couldn't do it. I looked at the nurses who said that you probably should stop doing this certain activity. And I said, no, I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to adapt. Don't take no as an answer. Because you could, like I said, you could be this close to getting there. But if you quit, you'll never know how close you were. Now let's look at this definition of disability again. Does anybody think that this is holding me back from living a normal life? Does anybody think this is preventing me from a job? I'm right here, right there. Is this a disadvantage or an incapacity? Legal disqualification? Legally, I would like to see what disqualifies me. I can tell you, if I get pulled over, I'm not going to jail for having a fake leg. That would be weird. And then I have another funny story to tell. But I'm glad that doesn't happen. There was people that said that that would define me. For a while, I believed that. But I'm not anymore. I refuse to let that define me. Remember at the beginning of this speech, I told you guys to think about what the word different means? Think about what the word disabled means. Who can bring something else to that conversation right now? Can anyone think of something, a way to change that definition? Did you raise your hand?
Yeah. What I thought was different was, what I think different is unique.
Unique, exactly. You can think of words, you don't have to redefine the whole definition, but what are some words, guys? I know you all have something. What are some words that you can bring to this conversation that redefine this? Yeah.
I just said someone who's not the same.
Someone who's not the same, and it is okay to not be the same? Yeah, yeah. Special.
Person who stands out.
Person who stands up for somebody else. That is amazing quality to have. Sometimes it's even hard right now in the situation to raise your hand to give me an answer because in the back of your mind you're thinking, what are my friends going to think, what I say? It's hard to speak up. Once you learn how to do that, you will be happy. And you will finally have that happiness that it took me a while to find, but that I find, and you can see I love everything I do now. Nothing in my life that comes in my life will be a challenge for me.
Somebody who should be treated the same.
Somebody who should be treated no differently than anybody else. Yeah.
Someone who overcomes.
Someone who overcomes, exactly. Yeah.
A situation that can motivate you.
A situation that can motivate you. This motivated me. I had a kid in the other class that asked me a question and said, Gena, if you could figure out a way to grow a new leg, would you? Absolutely not. I'm gonna take advantage, I'm gonna milk this. I'm gonna get speaking events because of this. I'm gonna do cool things because of this. I'm gonna stand out because of this. And I love that. Anything else? I thought I saw another. Yeah.
Something that makes you you.
Something that makes me me. That's so true. This is part of me. This leg is not something that's separate from who I am. I was given this, who knows why? No one knows why. Lady Gaga doesn't know why. No one knows why. But I'm so glad I was chosen to have this life. Anybody else? Anything you think of when I say the word different? You guys have a lot of good ones, to be honest. I can't even think of too many more.
Someone who you think is very different from you, but they might not be the same.
Yeah, somebody who you see as different, but really they're the same as you, they're just going through a different challenge. Yeah.
Someone who's confident.
Somebody who's confident. Isn't confidence a cool thing to have? It's pretty cool, right? When I can stand up here and tell you that my life and things that have happened in my life, I'm confident enough with myself to do that. Because you guys are supportive. This is all, the reason I am comfortable too is because of you guys also. Because you guys are respectful and you're nice and you're listening to me, and I'm hoping that at the end of this somebody will go home, wake up tomorrow, not feeling so hot, and look at themselves in the mirror and say, what did Gena tell me to do? She said to look at the mirror and say, I can. I can do this. I can, I will, and I must. I can succeed, I will do better, and I must do it. If you guys can take away anything from this, take away that. Wake up tomorrow and make yourself happy. Even if you have a hard test or something's distracting your happiness, literally physically go like this. That sounds so weird, but they've done studies that say if you're sad and you force yourself to smile, even though it's like really silly, I'm crying and I'm like, oh my God, smile. It really helps. Because then you think about how funny you look while you're smiling and you kind of think, okay. Do good things for yourself. Do things that help you succeed and help each other succeed. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Anything they want to redefine about the word? Yeah.
Resilient.
Resilient. That's a really good word. Resilience. Anybody know what resilience means?
Not give up. Or is you discouraged to not give up.
Yeah, to not give up. Did you have something? Is that what you were saying? Yes.
It's like being able to. Resilience?
I know, there's
I know what it means, but I can't put it into words.
You all should be raising your hand. Everyone.
It's like being able to bounce back.
Being able to bounce back. That's a good one. Yes. Wait, listen, you're going to miss it. Because I think Jody said something about, or somebody said something about a pop quiz on that word, so you better be listening. What was it?
Going through a hard time.
Going through a hard time. Getting through a hard time. Yeah.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Ah, she's like, dang it. Yeah.
Overcoming obstacles.
Overcoming obstacles. Anybody else?
Being strong.
Being strong. Yes.
Even when you get knocked out, it seems like the whole world is against you. Just
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes it feels the whole world is against you. Am I right? There's bad thing after bad thing happens, and you're just like, why? Right? But that choice that I made in the morning to wake up and smile makes that question kind of disappear. Yeah.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, that's very true.
being positive.
Being positive.
Being able to know that you cannot get through anything.
Exactly. Going through, you can get through anything. Yeah.
Believing in yourself.
Believing in yourself. That's so true. Having courage.
Being your own person.
Being your own person, that's so true. Not comparing yourself to other people. You'll never be satisfied if all you do is compare yourself to somebody else.
Being the best you can be.
Being the best you, doing the best things for yourself. And some of you, it's going to take longer to get to that point than others. Some of you quite aren't there yet, but I know a lot of you are, and if you're not, you're going to get there. That's your own choices. I can only do so much. I can't make you be nice to the person that you've been teasing, unfortunately. I can't make you do these things. Your teachers can only help you so much. Your teachers can only encourage you so much. But at the end of the day, you make that choice. Stand up for somebody. to say something nice to somebody. Compliment each other. Go out of your way to help each other feel good. Because I've had people come up to me before and say, you're such an inspiration, you're so good. And that's a confidence booster. That helps people. Anybody else have anything? All right, well, thank you for your time today.